Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave Wilson of Morgantown. TJ Meadows at an undisclosed location, taking some time off to relax. I think we're all in agreement. There's probably a tee box somewhere nearby. He'll be back on Monday. As for the time being, you're stuck with me. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. 800-765-8255. Text line is 304-TALK-304. We appreciate you being part of the show on one of our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia, or if you are watching on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube. We also appreciate that. Jake Link, our video producer this morning, as always, and Ethan Collins handles the audio side of things. Coming up a little bit, Hoppy stops by. Got a couple of things to talk to Hop about. Brad McElhaney has a story over at WVMetroNews.com this morning about the new chief financial officer at WVU. He comes to West Virginia from Ohio State, where he was singled out in a report concerning the former president at Ohio State who misused his office for personal gain. We'll get into all of that with Brad in the second hour coming up on Metro News Talkline this morning. But first, for the last, couple of weeks now, since the May 12th primary election, I have insisted, I have asserted, I have claimed that if I were Mike Pushkin, the chair of the state Democrat Party, I would be feeling pretty good, dare I even say optimistic, about the Democrat Party's chances to make significant gains in November in state legislative races. That's what I have said I would feel if I were Mike Pushkin. Let's ask the real Mike Pushkin this morning. The state Democrat Party chair, Kanawha County Delegate Mike Pushkin, joins us from the Encova Insurance Studios in Charleston. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, and I have to say, you are correct. That's exactly how I feel.
You're optimistic.
I feel good. I am optimistic, and that is because we had some real results to look at on May 12th. I mean, there's a lot of polling. There's a lot of editorializing that goes on but leading up to an election. But you have an election, those are real numbers, and those real numbers looked pretty good. We are cautiously optimistic as West Virginia Democrats right now.
So what numbers in particular stood out to you, and what were your takeaways?
Well, I'll start with the voter turnout numbers. Well, overall, I think it was 21%, which is low, but it's about. However, unfortunately, that's par for the course for a midterm primary, as in the low 20s. But if you break down those numbers, look inside those numbers, the Democratic turnout in West Virginia was around 37%, while the Republican turnout was in the low 20s, which shows the enthusiasm is on our side. And that has I think that part of it has very little to do with the Republicans closing their primary. We don't have those numbers yet of how many independents requested Democratic ballots, but we think those are going to be high as well. I think we don't get those numbers until July. But our folks turned out, and the results speak for themselves. Where are the folks that we felt were the best for the job for the Supreme Court won. I think it's safe to say we now have a very new majority on the Supreme Court, which I feel will be favorable towards working West Virginians, and that's great news. And the other nonpartisan judicial race, we had a registered Democrat, and Jim Douglas, who was running against a registered Republican, and Dan Greer. And, Judge Douglas did not hide the fact that he was a Democrat, in fact, ran on it. Talked about being pro-choice and for childhood immunizations, and he won, and it wasn't particularly close.
Mike, I know we won't get those numbers to July until June or July about how many independents chose Democrat ballots. My gut tells me there was a significant number of independent, unaffiliated voters, whatever you want to call them, for whatever reason. Everybody gets to choose, but they were disenfranchised. They were told by Republicans, we don't want you to participate in our primary. And they said, fine and dandy, we'll participate over here. I think we're going to see a significant number of those voters who have participated on the Democrat primary ticket. What are your thoughts?
I feel the same way. We'll know soon enough, but I also have a hunch that a lot of those folks are going to vote the same way in the fall. Because they're not going to forget being kicked out of the Republican primary. And we'll stick with our candidates in the fall. And the good news is we gave them choices on our side, too, which took a lot of hard work, a lot of organizing amongst our county committees and our volunteers all over the state. And we had a lot of great candidates that stepped up and put their names on the ballot. We had contested primaries at the top of the ticket, even in some of a lot of our legislative races where we had contested primaries, and there was excitement on our side. And I feel a lot of these voters who chose those independent and unaffiliated voters that went in and asked for a Democratic ballot, a lot of them are going to be sticking with us in the fall, and I like our chances in a lot of these races.
How do you make certain, I guess you can't make certain, Mike, but how do you recruit and do your best to make certain those voters you're talking about do stick with the Democrat Party in the fall?
Well, we have. I think I've always felt our best messengers are our candidates, and the good news is we have great candidates. But to keep those, work with our candidates to make sure that they keep voters engaged. We will get out there and try to keep voters engaged as well. Voter registration drives, and showing up and meeting people where they are, and listening to them about what is driving them right now. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are very upset about things that are going on. I think people feel that the state and the country as a whole is on the wrong track. When you look at gas prices, they're going to continue to go up all summer due to a war of choice that we were told was going to be over in 2 weeks, and now we're going on 3 months. I think 3 months today over in Iran, which is causing those gas prices to go up. Or if you see some of the corruption going on at the state level. Where we see, lawmakers tied directly to these data centers that nobody seems to want in their backyard. There's a lot of things that people are upset about. I think that that's why the enthusiasm is on the Democratic side right now. And I said I think we're gonna pull off some upsets.
You brought up the judicial races. You touched on it briefly. Is that an indication to you that the pendulum is shifting? Is that an indication that folks don't like the chief executive, and if you're associated with him, they're going to go another direction? What do you make of those results?
Yeah, I mean, those are the only real numbers we have right now. Those are the races that were on everybody's ballot, whether you're voting on a Republican ticket, a nonpartisan ticket, or a Democratic ballot on May 12th. Those are the races everybody got to vote for, and the results speak for themselves with the election of Bill Flanagan and Kirkpatrick to the Supreme Court. That changes the majority of the Supreme Court. I feel we took back one branch of government this month. So one down, two to go. And then, I really look at that intermediate court race where you had a registered Democrat who made no bones about it. He did not hide the fact that he's a registered Democrat. And when I was out there on the stump, talked about being pro-choice and pro-vaccine every chance he got. And that race wasn't even close.
And, Mike, there are GOP strategists who would absolutely agree with what you just said there. So
I've heard them on the show. I've been waiting for my turn to come on and agree with these folks like Greg Thomas that are saying, they were not paying attention at all to these judicial races, and we took back a branch of government. And that's not too bad.
So we're talking to Mike Pushkin. He is a state Democrat Party chair. Define success in November, Mike. I'm certain you are confident. You're the head of the Democrat Party. You got to believe you can win. Democratic. Thank you. My apologies. Democratic Party. You're like a football coach. You got to believe you can win every game. You got to believe you can win every contest. But what does success look like in November?
Gaining seats. Winning wherever we can, and I believe we're going to win in a couple places where people haven't thought we could in quite some time. I think it's progress is what winning looks like. And what winning looks like is a better government that works for the people of West Virginia, because that's why we're all in this. I don't think of it as a football game, or a basketball game. Go Knicks, by the way. I had to get that in there. I'm a long-suffering Knicks fan.
Oh, yeah.
We're not suffering right now. But no, it's about getting better people in place to make better decisions on behalf of West Virginians to help better the lives of our friends and neighbors here. And that's what success looks like, getting better people in office. And I feel that we have a great chance to do that this fall.
Talking to Mike Pushkin. He is a state Democratic Party chair. If I may ask you to switch your metaphorical hats, put the delegate hat back on for just a second. What's the deal with TANF funding? Do we have a deficit? Does it need to be cut? It seems like there's still some desire to reach out to Star Academies and use some funds there to pay for those. It seems to me, Mike, there are a lot more questions than answers right now. What's your assessment?
Well, this was all sprung on us as the legislature. Even when you're hearing that from the the chair of House Finance, the same thing. Yeah, there are more questions than answers, and I think the executive branch owes, or the governor, I'm going to say the governor owes us more information on that and more answers to these questions, because this didn't come up during the regular session when we were voting on the budget.
He is Mike Pushkin, Kanawha County delegate. He's also the West Virginia Democratic Party chair, and we have confirmed this morning he is feeling good about November. Mike, we appreciate you coming by. We'll talk again later this summer, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.